This summer, I took a ride on a train of thought. In this post, I would like to share what came to mind. This is the summer I decided to put the idea, thoughts create reality, to the test. Early on, I was encouraged when synchronicities kept popping up. Something someone said, an object or item or event would show up after thinking about it, or I would get a call from someone I had planned to call. Obsessing over a certain outcome will cause some hoped-for outcomes to fail. Plans changed, but also plans worked out with a few variations. It was an exciting summer, as if I was on my own Celestine prophecy adventure. If you do not know what a Celestine prophecy is, I'm referring to the book written by James Redfield about a spiritual adventure containing numerous synchronicities that led him down a path to awakening and the discovery of hidden spiritual knowledge. It seemed like every day I was being led to investigate the nature of reality. In turn, many people showed up in my life to indulge me in conversation about reality. I began to zero in on a few topics, especially the nature of consciousness. What I found is the evidence that we are in a simulation. It is everywhere and it is everything. I coined a phrase, the con of shushness. What the heck is that, you might ask? It was a phrase I had been throwing around for a good part of the last year, but now I was ready to delve into explaining what I meant by this odd term. I would like to start with a simple question. How many ideas that you have in a day can you claim as original to you? Take a moment to pause this video and ponder on it. If you have come up with a thought that originates with you, go to Google search and type that thought in and see if there is someone out there who has also already thought the same thing and shared it. What did you find? I personally find it challenging to claim that any of my thoughts originate with me, because if I think about it for a minute, most of my thoughts originated from something I heard before. One day, though, I was thinking once again about the act of thinking and thinking's relationship to consciousness, and the thought, the con of shushness, popped into my awareness. The experience of it popping into my consciousness is something worth questioning as well, don't you think? How does something just pop into your consciousness? Today, using Google search, I typed in that phrase, the con of shushness, and I found one link to my own comment on a Substack post. What is your response when someone asks you to describe yourself or asks you who you are? I ask this because how many of us, if given a minute to reflect on who we really are, would suddenly have difficulty in saying who we really are? Do most of you describe what you do? Do you point out the role you play? Like, I am a doctor. I am a parent. I am an artist. I am an errant. This writing is my exploration spanning the last 30 years into the most consequential and enormous, immensely significant question I think man has ever asked. What is consciousness? My exploration didn't go into serious mode till about 15 years ago when I bumped into Tom Campbell on YouTube, and from there got his book, My Big Theory of Everything, and literally read it in one day. Before Tom Campbell showed up on my consciousness screen, along with him, I read the book Holographic Reality, written by Michael Talbot. It was his writing that launched me on a journey of discovery that I'm actively still pursuing today. Before finding these two very interesting authors and reality researchers, I had been meditating on the ideas of Advaita Vedanta and the idea that reality is an illusion or a dream. So when Tom pointed to the idea of a virtual reality world and Michael described it as being holographic in nature, I was intrigued. I could see a correlation or an explanation as to why the world could and would be described as an illusion. Virtual reality, or a simulation, made perfect sense to me. It brought into focus how there must be an observer watching this reality or this dream play out. When sitting down to write this, I was reviewing ideas I had written over 5 years ago. Here's what I thought then, and what I feel even stronger about heading towards truth today. Consciousness is a part of the player's avatar programming. The real you, the one wearing the headset, is awareness. We, as the player wearing the headset, must realize that we are subjected to this game programming. Levels of consciousness are levels of the game. In other words, levels of knowledge of information programs. I am literally conveying here that consciousness is programming. It is code. It is information. It is what makes up the virtual reality game. You are the awareness that is more than this consciousness programming. It's become clear that when we say mind is all there is, or energy is all there is, or thought creates reality, that we are saying consciousness programs are all there is. But this is only true in the game. The outside of the game, you are the awareness that if you realized it, you would have beat the consciousness programs and done exactly what you wanted to do within the game. I will develop this idea as we go. I call this consciousness the Khan of Shushness, the Khan of knowing. Within the game, you are subjected to the information that is provided you in the game. This is the Khan, the knowing that is the awe and surrounds us in the game. It simply is information, or a formed condition of code. We are surrounded by code, which we call mind, or energy of consciousness. It is not who we really are. It is just code. The concept of virtual reality opened an entire new window or a vista into seeing what the nature of consciousness could really be. Think of all the ways that philosophers and scientists, artists and poets have looked at reality to get to the answer to what consciousness is. Here's a comprehensive list. Say before each word, reality is. Reality is Maya, a dream world, illusion, subjective, objective, infinite, finite, virtual, augmented, a simulation, a simulacrum, holographic, mind, thought, electromagnetic, energy, the now, made of parallel worlds, many lives or reincarnations. Many of these theories on the nature of reality hold a great deal in common. Each of them shares properties and connections with all the other terms. When we describe consciousness, we speak of its nature. We are defining its attributes, its characteristics, and its properties without ever really getting to the entire, all-encompassing absolute about what it is. Realizing this and using all the concepts of what reality is or might be has led me to consider that consciousness is programming. I'll say that again. Consciousness is programming. And programming is what has us trapped and controlled within this reality. It is what many of us are waking up to as code. Everything is scripted, and it is all programming code, meant to keep you here in this reality and teaching it by way of your creative imagination. Before we go any further here, let's look at the etymology of the word consciousness. Con, with thoroughly together. Con is short for Latin contra, opposite, against, an argument or evidence in opposition, contrary. Shush, adjective, having knowledge, to know, knowledge within oneself, self-aware. Ness, suffix meaning state, condition, quality. When using the prefix or root con with shush, it is implied that we are using the pro or with in relation to knowledge. But with all the spellcasting, wordplay, and deceit our creators of language apply, I find it intriguing that the term begins with a con. Who created the word? Who created language? Why does language pair with numbers? I am sure many of you reading this are familiar with gematria and numerology, and even that biblical statement, first was the Word, and the Word was God. Who exactly is with knowing? The con in knowing. Let's look at that word knowing. K with the word know in the middle, ending in wing. No wing. Is this where the phrase winging it comes from? Thinking of the terms above about what reality is or might be, I ask some questions and a possible answer to those questions. If reality is an illusion, what are we aware of? Could it be a program? A movie playing on a screen? Who is the we? I think we are observing the simulated hologram through an avatar. The avatar is programmed to follow a certain script. Evidence of this script is in astrology, the tarot, numerology, and gematria, our language. The scripted character is none other than ego. But who you really are is always present and aware. Who you really are just may be what we call the subconscious mind. But in using the term subconscious leads us back to what I think is programming. This is where we come to understand that you being awareness has gone on autopilot. So even the subconscious is just another database of information. The information that is being stored through experience. Who you are is not the ego and not the subconscious, not the character you're playing, not the script you're carrying out, but awareness of these programs playing out. What is real? The awareness that observes the programs, the codes, the data. This is the real you, awareness. You are the awareness viewing the simulated holographic world made up of consciousness programs. It has been my observation that what we have been told about life in reality is mostly wrong, backwards, or opposite from the truth. Having said that, let's examine this example of consciousness and awareness I've posted below. I found out about what we have been told about consciousness and awareness. If we are living in a simulated reality, then I see this example the other way around. Let me explain. Awareness, who we really are, sees the illusionary or virtual scene and simply observes it. Consciousness programs kick in and start defining it with words or codes, forming a mindset, and confirming or establishing the avatar programming. The avatar is learning how to perceive. The avatar has a limited and defined view of the illusion it is experiencing. Awareness as observer remains neutral, has no definition, no controlled perception. Wait a minute here. I said the avatar has a restricted and defined view of reality due to programming limitations. If we are observers of a simulation and we are experiencing reality through an avatar, what does that make the avatar? A simulation within a simulation, perhaps? But even more profound, does that make the avatar an artificial intelligence? Are we experiencing reality through artificial intelligence programming? Well, that is what I'm exploring here as I contemplate how it is that thoughts create reality. We are awareness experiencing a simulated world. We are dreaming dreams within dreams until we wake up and remember who we really are. It is in the true waking up that we become powerful within the dream world of simulation. We use a term called lucid dreaming when we wake up. in the dream and know that we are in a dream, what is waking up? It is the avatar, I suggest, that is the consciousness program coming back online. To better explain, I suggest that the avatar sleeps so that the system can update. While the avatar is asleep, a program processes the experiences the avatar has had through a looping of reality reels, using the avatar's codes and embedded scripts represented often symbolically. The avatar is dreaming while the awareness of who we really are has put down the virtual reality goggles and walked away from the simulation. Or perhaps the awareness, also known as who we really are, is reviewing the game experience, and it is playing out in the sleep state of the avatar. Another way of saying this is that the avatar is suspended, while awareness reviews what the avatar has recorded during the time the awareness was actively playing, engaging in the simulation game through the avatar. Are you confused? Yeah, so am I, to be honest. How is this dream occurring and who's doing the thinking? Again, I suggest a program. I quote Bernardo Castro, "Deep within, in a way that isn't self-reflective, there is that intuition that you aren't really this character you seem to be playing in the story." Bernardo Castro. David Bohm calls reality the holo movement. We are all waves, fractals, contributing to the one never-ending story. Only nothing is real. Bernardo Castro again. If consciousness is a program that cons us into thinking that reality is real, that reality exists in a tangible and physical form, and makes us believe that what we are experiencing, including ourselves, is a real event, a solid, objective entity that is knowable, well, doesn't that fit with a simulation, a hallucination, a hologram, a dream, a thought in a mind that doesn't even exist? Oh, and about that us? Right. Who is being conned? To answer who the us is or who the I is of course the biggest challenge, because we cannot be defined by consciousness if consciousness is a con. In other words, we cannot be defined by our knowledge of self, our self-awareness, or even by the fact that we think we are thinking. For all we know, we are just defining a program. Are we thinking, or is the program thinking? An awakened person is someone who knows he is not the character he is playing, but the one who is quietly observing reality. The awakened person knows not to react to the world he witnesses, but to see now how to be the creator of the world he wants to experience. We are genuine and authentic living minds that imbue creation, or the simulated world, with imagination. That is our power in this experience, to imagine in our dream, our talent, our truth, our desire. More to come in following post. If you are still on my train of thought, then sit tight as we pull into the station for a break. The next leg of the trip, I will explore the idea more of holographic reality, the nature of projection, and the energy that thoughts really are. For now, take some time to contemplate the great themes that have been presented to us since time began. Everything is mind. Everything is energy, which means everything is consciousness, which translates to everything is thought. And if everything is thought, then reality is information or informed thought, thought that is in a state of condition, what we call matter, which, as we are coming to understand, is just an illusion, a very persistent one, as Albert Einstein stated. When you understand this, you realize we live in a holographic light show. What you think is projected onto the holographic screen we call life, or the material world. Your thoughts create your reality. It is all an illusion. You are not the thoughts. You are the awareness that observes this light show. You are not the consciousness programmed identity you pretend to be. You are awareness that is observing the holographic show, pretending to be the story you are immersed in. So, stay tuned, or should I say, stay on board. This train of thought has many more destinations. A list of some. Imagination and image in. What is a dream? Artificial intelligence. The Anunnaki and the story of genetic engineering. What is biological life? What really is the avatar? What is the human? What is water? A stream or current of information, perhaps? What is a hologram? And how is our world holographic? Light beings are energy beings. What does that mean? Why germs and terrain are both true in a holographic reality. The black box scrying tool or the television. The cell phone. There is no magnetism in electromagnetism. Stay tuned for more on all these ideas.